Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is now playing in theaters, and I was able to check it out last night. Let's just talk about the journey it's been to get to this moment. Imagine telling Sonic fans in 2019 that this would become the best video game movie trilogy of all time. Not that there's any real competition, but still, it's something. The film itself is easily the best in the franchise, and I think I loved it. As a point of reference, I'm a pretty big Sonic fan from the video games and have been since I was like 4 years old, so this was a treat to see on the big screen. Without spoiling anything, the entire third act is an insane amount of fun and full of moments that would make any Sonic fan extremely happy. This film obviously introduces the absolute unit that is Keanu Reeves as Shadow, and he's just as awesome and just as badass as you would expect him to be. What I didn't expect, though, is the amount of focus his backstory got in this movie. This is definitely the Sonic movie with the most heart and the most emotion, and you can very clearly see that from the Shadow and Maria flashbacks. This entry easily has the best screenplay of the Sonic films, and you can really feel the pain the Shadow is carrying inside of him. This film does a great job at helping you resonate with this character. I would have called him the best villain in the franchise, but Jim Carrey, man, he is just way too good in these movies. He plays a dual role in this movie as Ivo and Gerald, and he's just as great as always. Over the top, goofy in the best ways possible. I did really like where the film left his character off, because I'm not so sure he's coming back in the next film that's already announced, because Paramount already knows that this film is going to do numbers at the box office. The visual effects are the best they've ever been, and this film looks pretty decent for the most part, which is cool, because in this day and age, most $200 million blockbusters look very atrocious. So the visual effects are the best they've ever been, and so is the banter between the Sonic family, which is always the heart and core of not only this film, but the franchise as a whole. Tom and Maddie, while having significantly less screen time than 1 and 2, are still pretty solid here. Sonic has a pretty decent character arc, and all around, I just really like the prominence of the theme of family and love in this third movie. It's always been something, encapsulating all the movies, but it's really prominent in this movie. Specifically. Now, with the Sonic the Hedgehog film, you're always going to get the dumb, corny, and cringe-worthy sequences, and there are a good chunk of them here. There's definitely a sense of charm to some of the stupid antics that these films feature, but some of the things that this film has is just way too goofy, as they can break the tension at times, which is annoying for sure. The first act is a bit too rushed, in my opinion, a bit too fast-paced. As we jump into the action, we get our first fight scene, not really a spoiler, but our first fight scene with Shadow, like 15 minutes in or something like that, and it feels insanely rushed. But Sonic the Hedgehog 3 overall is the best Sonic film we've ever gotten so far, and I had an absolute blast with it. Also, the post-credit scenes are pretty awesome, setting the future up, because we know they're going to be making these movies for a long time, considering the commercial success of this franchise. So overall, I had a great time with Sonic the Hedgehog 3. It's a lot of fun.